Hey guys, so this video is going to about exporting from Maya and then importing into your first Unreal scene. And let's get started. So the idea behind it is very simple, right? You simply select the object that you want to export as a group, and then export selection, and then you get the right setting, and then you just drag in into Unreal. That's basically it. So this video is just going to mostly focus on how to organize things nicely and set up things correctly for Unreal so you get maximum freedom in Unreal. Now, first thing is that we can see I'm using one of the students' file, and then as we can see, she already grouped some of the object, which is very nice, and it helps us for furthering organization. So first of all, because she had these groups inside of a larger group, I'm going to move this, select all these in my outliner. I'm going to move it with middle drag. So drag it out, delete that group, and this should be on the empty group. Yep, tool, table with tool. So this should be in here, and there's a spare object there, and I can see a lot of empty repeating groups here. So one thing that we can do to fix things real quick, we can select all the object not through the outliner, delete history. That should at least fix a good number of it. And then these are all empty because when I select the group, nothing is being highlighted in the scene. So I'm just gonna press delete from here. Okay, that has something in it. Delete. Now we have a scene that's mostly, yep, now these are mostly in here. So this is selected. Now when I export, I simply need to choose export selection, go to this little window here, and then I'll save and close now. And so when it's the first time you're exporting, this should be toggled, so unselected, because we don't need any of these thing to potentially alter the file, the mesh in Unreal. Second thing is, if you go down, this should be hidden, and then go to animation, untoggle animation, because one of the trick I'm going to teach you guys is to use animation to organize your scene. So here I'm going to quickly export it. Do this, organize a file the way that makes sense to you. I already did a practice run earlier, so for me, I'm just going to, right, another thing, make sure you're in FBX export. So your default should be the first one and the second one. Just scroll down, FBX. Name it, I was naming it set1, so I'm just going to overwrite it. Now, I export it as this. However, when Unreal is reading the pivot of the object, see how the pivot is at the center of this? When Unreal is reading it, the pivot is always going to be the origin of the world, which is the 000, which is this point instead of here. So we can take a test real quick. So go into your Unreal, go to games, blank, project name it the way that makes sense to you. You can keep all these settings as default, create. Now, I load up Unreal rather quickly. If it's the first time of you ever loading up Unreal, it should take a while. Now, I'm going to, first of all, in Unreal 5.1, they have this default landscape. We can go into your outliner, same thing as a Maya outliner, we can delete it. Landscape, delete. Now we can go to here, quickly add to the project, go to here, shapes, plane. So I have a piece of ground. I can come to, now I have the piece of ground selected, details, scale, lock it up. I'm going to scale this by 100 times. Now, this is your content drawer, and when you import object, you simply drag and drop into it. However, it's good to always organize the scene, so I'm going to hit assets, mesh, or model, however you want to name it. Just make sure it makes sense to you. Set none. Now, when you're importing, for the first time, you need to take a look on your setting. Not for any of your future project in the same file, so you only need to do this one. So go into Advanced, Combine Meshes, select it. It's important to do that because we have several different meshes. Even though we combine it, Unreal is still going to separate them into different files. Material, do not create material. Import texture, do not import. And another thing is import uniform scale. So Unreal runs in meters, so I need to come back and check what her scene is set into. So I'm going to Windows, Setting, Preferences, go to Setting. So the scene is in centimeter. That means this need to be 100. Now, should be it. Fantastic. See how the pivot is here instead of here. That's exactly the distance and the orientation of the object in relation to the workspace origin. So we can see what we need to do here. First of all, we need to rotate this. Second of all, we need to set this to the center. So I'm going to do that real quick. So go to Top View, rotate. I'm just going to eyeball this. I have snapping on, so snap. Off. One more thing that before I progress any further, I can turn on my keyboard reader. So keyboard key press. Fantastic. Now this is centered roughly, but now we can see the pivot is not straight. Freeze transformation here, center pivot, and then I want to set my pivot in Maya to the bottom of the object. That would be easy for us to work on it in Unreal as well. So in case you don't remember, hold D, this pops up, and then I'm gonna hold V, snap to vertices, and then I'm gonna snap this vertically to this vertex. There you go. Now I simply need to move this object to 0, 0, 0. So in here, modeling toolkit, move setting, 0 down. Now this guy's ready. However, you can start seeing the problem. If you set up a scene file like what she's doing here, and what I would do most of the time is set up a scene file like this as well, when we are exporting, everything is going to collapse at the center and things will get very chaotic and messy. So we'll need to set some animation. So in one frame, everything is spread out and set out and workable, and in another frame, everything is going to collapse at the center. So what I'm going to do is move this back out to here, press S, and now we can see this little red line here. That means things is being keyed. So what I personally like to do is on frame number 2, I like to work on frame number 2. I press S again, there's another red line. Make sure you come to here, and I have my mouse toggle, hover over it, and it shows auto keyframe toggle. That means every time I move it in this frame, it's going to key it and remember what that position is at this frame. So now keyframe number 2 is here, keyframe number 1 is here. So you might be able to guess what I'm going to do is at keyframe number 1, I'm going to zero things out. Now it's all zeroed out. So same thing in this frame that I know that it's being centered, export selection. Now because we already have all the files set up, it's very easy for us to reiterate. So I just need to override it. The settings should already be being the same. Yes. And in here, this object, we can go to content drawer, find your mesh, right click, re-import. Now we can see the pivot is being set up nicely. Now this light that we are having here, this dawn light, it's being probably not the best for us to demonstrate, so Control L. We can have this little sundial thing, and I'm just gonna move it. It's more sensical to do demonstration on. All the hotkey in Unreal is the same. Q, W, E, R. Hold Alt to move camera. F, focus. Almost all of them are the same. Not every single one. But you can see what my next move will be. Will be this. I'll just have to do the same thing for the rest of the object. Key it, rotate it correctly, collapse to the center, export. So for this one, same thing. Select the group. I probably will want to have this pivot right here. So I'm going to add a loop here real quick so I can use it as a reference. Click. I set it to multiple edge loop, number of edge loop to 1, so that's precisely 1 at the middle of the edge I selected. Click on the group, not on the object itself. Now I move this right here, and I probably want to snap this horizontally to this vertex. Maybe it's easier to do on the side view. Fantastic. Now move this in a little bit, so when I rotate it, there you go. Now go to top view, I'm going to rotate this so the base is straight. Approximately straight. So same thing here. You can see this group hasn't been keyed yet. So right now I'm in frame number 2. Press S. That's being keyed. Go to frame number 1. 0 and 0. File, export selection. I should already have this set up. And then content drawer, go to here, light 1. All the setting here should be the same as well. Bingo. Now, these are the snappings in Unreal. So I can turn off grid snapping, or I can keep it, but I definitely want off for rotation. See how the vertex, the gumball is based on world? That means it's this. It's a globe here, and now it's object based. So I can move it this way. It should set up this way. Okay, let's do the surgery table real quick. So move back. Frame number 2. Set this. This is already at the center. So we just simply need to export selection. Surgical table. Open this up. Surgical table. Drag and drop. Import. Okay. Now we only need one of these light exported, right? Because the same light I just going to duplicate. Okay. Next up, the drawer. I'm going to do this off screen because you guys already know what's happening here. So before I end the video, I want to show you that for this object here, it will be way simpler for us to, or way more freedom for us to export these individual tools, unique tools as separate meshes. So not only I can rearrange on the table, maybe I want some on the floor, maybe I want some on the cabinet here and here. So what I'm gonna do is, I know that these are separate meshes. By the way, she applied material to color group them. I'll show this in the next video. So right now, don't worry about the color yet. So because I know these are separate meshes, I should be able to go to face mode and then double click on this. That should select all the faces in this object. So this and this. Now I'm just going to extract it. This one. Object mode. Deselect what I don't want. So I have these 3 guys here. Like so. I'll delete history. This 3 is here, so I'll put it here. And name it tool 1, tool 2, now I'm going to do the same thing for these tools. So the vertex is all the way here, center pivot, freeze transformation, delete history, and then we can come here, modeling toolkit, zero things out. Now, these two are not zeroed out, so we need to do them separately. Oh, I forgot to frame them as well, so let's do that real quick. So Control Z all the way back. I can even make this look nice, a little bit nicer in here. So double click these. I'm just going to simply delete it, and then I can perhaps rearrange this a little bit, so when I look at this file, I know the intention of what I'm trying to do here. Right, you can another quick tips on designing, even though this class is not much about design yet, it's mostly about techniques. Think about when you're placing an object. Imagine I'm in Unreal. Think about you're placing an object. If a surgeon is using this, the handling bar of the tool should always facing outside of the tray, right? So instead of facing this way, logically it will always face this way. Now this way, guys. Press S, key them, go to the first frame, zero things out. Right, and then they have rotational value, so I simply need to come here, zero it out. And then this. This. Okay, and then 2, 1, 2, 3. It might be easier for us if we simply put this outside. Yeah, it might be easiest for us to navigate. So, file, export selection. Of course, I should go one by one. So. File, export selection, surgical tool number 1, number 2, and 3. Okay, save the scene real quick. Yeah, because I was working in that group. Some of the animation is additive, some of the transformation between these two are additive, so I also need to move based on world so they all move uniformly. Fantastic. So go to the scene, get the objects in, should be 2, 1, 2, 3. Import, same thing here. And of course, I need another table that has no tools on it, so should be this one. So I might want to delete history there because there's an empty group there. So I figure it's some of the operation we have done on this group. So I select the group and delete history. So move to key number 1. File, export selection, override surgical table. Oh wait, no, it was set number 1. So that means I just need to get this guy out as well, so I can override surgical table. Yeah, that name over there was really bad for me, so I should have renamed this, not set number 1, but like the tray or something, or the car. Anyhow, re-import. Okay, now this is an empty tray. So we put 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, say I want to move this around with the tool on top. Select all these and the tray. I can group them. So same key, Control G. Okay, and then get to rotate them a little bit. Fantastic. Now this scene is essentially set up mesh wise. Next one, I'll show you guys how to prepare a material real quick. If you're working in Unreal, this is good news for you. Unreal has tons of free, probably the largest free material library, or just material library in general, not even the free or not, for you to use. So this will be the next video. Save scene. Okay.